And with that, we're back. It's episode 12, featuring episode 12 from season 1 of Too Close for Comfort. That's why you're listening to the Too Close for Comfort podcast. Too Close for Podcast. The episode title was The Boy and the Band from February 10th, 1981, even though it did have a 1980 copyright. But as we discussed last week, this one had the production order of number 10, which means this one was actually shot before Monroe met with the sex surrogate, but it wasn't shown until after Sylvia came to visit. For you diehards that really needed to know that information.
Okay, so, like I would say, once again, we find everybody is having breakfast in the upstairs of the their parents' kitchen. Sarah's wearing her San Francisco sweater. I thought it was a San Francisco State sweater, but it just said SF. Jackie sees in the newspaper that Muriel's old boyfriend, Rich Holland, is opening up at the Velvet Goose.
The Velvet Goose.
With his trio. The Velvet Goose.
We don't ever get to see the Velvet Goose, not enough budget to show the Velvet Goose.
No, we decided not to go down there. Well, he's Muriel's old drummer boyfriend, back from her days when she was on the road with the band.
Hence the title of this episode, The Boy and the Band.
Henry tells her that he's probably bald after all these years, which is alright, spoiler. So Henry tells her he's bald after all these years, probably bald after all these years from after all the years of drinking and smoking pot, and tells her go ahead and meet this dude because he doesn't see any threat here. So later on, Henry's downstairs in the girl's apartment with his toolbox, and he gets his hand stuck in a vase. Like Three Stooges stuff. What do you think about that?
Sometimes you gotta just let those last few chips go.
You don't want to be the monkey. What do they call that? A monkey paw trap or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I can't remember it. I'm a little tired today. So, he gets his hand stuck in the vase. And then, boom, 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 here comes the drummer, Rich Holland, knocking on the door looking for Muriel.
Now, does he knock normal this time?
No, he started out.
Or did he knock obnoxiously?
He did that double knock.
Because
the door was open.
Because he's a drummer.
He did the double knock. Because he's a drummer, yeah. And he's looking for Muriel, and they talk. Him and Henry, they like banter back and forth a little bit, till he realizes that this is the drummer that Muriel used to go out with. And then Muriel shows up. And then they both help pull the vase off. And Muriel and Rich Holland end up on the couch, another couch gag where the two people are pressed on top of each other in a sexual context sort of situation, undertones.
And he thought Henry was like the handyman or something.
Yeah. And it turns out he's 52, which is apparently older than he is. I forget how old he was. I have to go back in my notes.
Not by much, I would think, a couple of years.
But storyline-wise.
And then also...
He played a much younger man than he did in the... I mean, he was much older than he was in this... Played it.
The most important part of this scene, I feel anyway, is at the very end when the vase ends up breaking anyway, and Muriel just thinks that's hysterical. even though it wasn't her face, and they tried so hard to keep the thing from getting broken.
He could have just...
I don't know, I thought there was some value to this thing, so... But it's all for comedic effect.
You see, the bracelet that Sarah had lost was in the vase.
You know, there's a lot of losing bracelets and brooches and misplaced a dress, or... You know, that happens a lot in this first season.
Why can't you get your hand out of the hole because I won't let go of the nut? Well, just let go of the nut. Well, I want the nut. Well, let go of it. And yeah, I guess we're going to cut your hand off. Damn it. Can I still have the nut? Well, I don't see how we're going to get it because your hand will be in the hole. Should have thought this through. Okay. So they end up in a sexually compromised... There's some sort of on top of each other. Muriel...
Which you said was just like last week.
It was just like last week where he ended up on top of...
But as we know, this was shot 2 weeks before last week's episode. So they did not originally intend for the same scene to happen 2 weeks in a row. But that's how they ended up being shown. So we get the same sequence 2 weeks in a row, but with different people.
I need a big whiteboard where I can do a timeline of all this stuff and keep it all in check. But yeah, I think the gum effects, no, they're not that great. I'm not sure how old Henry is. I definitely need to know that stuff at a glance. That's what whiteboards are for, right? I've seen Big Bang Theory. So, he gets his hand free because they pull it off. And also, Muriel invites Rich to dinner, which Henry doesn't seem like he's too happy about. Henry's feeling insecure about the whole thing. They're waiting for Rich to show up for dinner. And he's got his nice suit on. He's trying to look good and everything. Everybody's all dressed up. The girls are there. They're waiting for Rich to show up. And there's a joke about Sarah's boobs. There's always a joke about Sarah's boobs because she
That's mandatory.
stretched out one of Jackie's outfits. Because Jackie has smaller boobs. Get it? That's the joke.
We will delve further into this topic as the episodes progress. There's episodes about that topic coming up.
Yeah, they're just building,
Laying the groundwork.
laying the groundwork. There you go, planting the seeds. And so Rich arrives, and the girls think he's hot. They're very attracted to him and making all sorts of inappropriate statements in front of their father.
Because when you can't get George Hamilton, you get Rich Holland, the drummer.
That's right. Whatever his name was, Dick something.
Now I noticed it was interesting when he first meets the girls, he barely even glances at Sarah, but he's all about Jackie.
Jackie. Instantly, you felt that. Because he's a good actor, that dude.
He's just like, oh, hi, to Sarah, and then Jackie's just all...
Sarah's a little younger. Maybe she's too young for him. Maybe he's only looking for girls in their 20s. So the girls think he's hot, and he ends up inviting Jackie to go to the club to audition because they're saying how Jackie's a great singer. And he gets kind of creepy with her at that point. And that's Act 1. Only took 14 minutes. Now, how long did it take to tape? We don't know. It's up there.
It's definitely shorter than last week, because...
It's more concise, this episode, I think. So, later on, that night, Muriel... She's worried about Rich and Jackie going out because she knows what a perv Rich is and how he likes those young girls. Henry's Henry wasn't worried about it. Henry thinks she's just feeling old and maybe jealous or something, until he finds out that Rich is after those young girls, and he has that reputation, because that's what it was all about, reputation. He had a bad rep. He doesn't want his daughters going out with a guy like that.
Yeah, it takes her a while to convince Henry. Henry's just like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep, and then she finally says about,
So Henry says he's not gonna let her go, and Muriel's relieved, and she's able to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
And now Henry's up because he's all worked up about it. He was ready to go to sleep. This could have all happened in the morning. She could have said, hey, by the way, Rich is gonna probably try and have sex with our daughter. But no. So the next day, at some point, and it seems like it wasn't the next morning, it was right when Jackie was getting ready to go out with this guy. Maybe it was the morning. Maybe she spent the whole day, which sounds unlikely because it was a Tuesday. Clearly it was stated that this all was happening on I think it was, I have it written down, Thursday. No, it was a Thursday. Alright, so he goes down, next day, Henry goes down to talk to Jackie and tell her that she shouldn't be going out with this guy. And Sarah's standing on her head for some reason. And then he tells Jackie that Muriel doesn't want her to go out with him. But she says that that she'll be home early and she's not, nothing weird's going to happen. She's just going to go down and audition. Everything will be fine. And she'll be home early. That's the end of Act 2. Now we're in the home stretch here, people. So now it's 4 a.m. and Jackie still isn't home. Henry's up waiting. Muriel wakes up at this point. We also discovered that the paperboy is a girl. That's gonna, somewhere later on, like episode 40, that's gonna come into play, I believe. I might be wrong. So then Sarah and Rich get back. Muriel and Jackie, they hurry up downstairs because Henry's gonna kill her, and Muriel wants to be there. And they burst into the girls' apartment and they find the two of them kissing, Jackie and Muriel's old boyfriend, Rich Holland.
The drummer.
Yeah, as we previously mentioned. The only other person with a name in this show. That we also get to see this guy, though. Usually, a lot of times we get names and we don't actually see this character. So they're kissing, and Jackie says that she just was waiting for the club to close for Rich to get off work. And then they went to breakfast. And then they came back and there was just a goodnight kiss. Plus, he asked her to go on the road with her. Sarah stumbles out because, it's 4 in the morning, 4:30 at this point. I'm not sure. Henry forbids Jackie to go.
4:02.
Well, but
if it was 4, I wouldn't be as nervous.
Yeah, but by this point, it's maybe 4:30. You're right. That's it. You write that down?
No,
that one
I just remembered that he said that. Oh. The benefits of watching the episode right before the podcast.
Yeah, so Henry forbids Jackie to go. Jackie says that she turned him down because she didn't want to do it anyway.
And she wants to keep working at the bank.
She likes her bank job. And then
at least for a few more episodes.
And maybe someday she's going to get married and have to move out anyway. So as Rich is leaving, he asks Sarah if she sings, which is another pervy move. This is because Sarah's just wearing her nightie or whatever. And Henry, real quick, grabs him, pushes him out the door. and comes back, and the door closes, and he's holding Rich's toupee because he was bald the whole time. His luscious, like the focus of the show, really, a lot of it was on his hair because he had awesome hair, didn't he?
And everybody laughs. He was very John Davison from That's Incredible. Helmet hair, Randy Travis, KRP hair. And everybody laughs at the fact that the guy was bald, and so we can just humiliate him now. That's kind of the way. What I got out of it anyway.
Yeah. And that was then roll credits. Boom. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. We're still waiting for that mashup JJ's promised us. But his hat is. So what you got, Marty?
Of course,
break it down.
We had the guest star, Rich Holland, the drummer, played by that guy who looks like George Hamilton, maybe not quite as tan. No Cosmic Cow appearance or reference, but Henry was reading the comics at the beginning of the episode. The comics in the newspaper.
The funny pages.
Funny pages, yeah.
Yeah.
Henry was not wearing a sports sweater in this episode.
That is true. Or university sweater, you mean?
Yeah. Who's notably absent? Well, no Monroe.
No Monroe at all.
Mm-hmm. But that's not that uncommon for season 1, as he was still considered a guest star. Nothing is being thrown out the window, or any window, I should say, but Henry's watching out the window.
That's true.
So we haven't seen that happen in a while. That's where he notices the paper boy is a girl. Should we call the police?
The dude looks like a lady.
The paper boy's a girl.
Paperboy's a lady.
No, because it's 4 in the morning. No, it's 4:02. If I already said that. Henry points twice in this episode. Once is upside down because he's holding something.
I love that move. I'm gonna start using it.
There's two Henry Stammers. So they count it. Every now and then they like to bring up Muriel's old singing career, and this episode's completely about that because of Muriel's old drummer, Rich Holland. It's important that you remember that name.
It is. He was the one that led her down the path of depravity.
And then she said, "You're not getting my daughter pregnant." How weird is that going to be? The intro was the long intro with the bridge and they're riding in that streetcar. There was some subversiveness in this episode. 3 references to smoking grass. Ooh, for 1981 television, that's risque. We have the old-young relationship once again with Jackie and Rich. I'd count that.
Yeah, she's older than her father.
I'm going to give this one a 3, almost a 4 on the scale of 1 to 5. Bizarreness, it has a 1980 copyright in the end credits, but that's, as we discussed earlier, production order was different than how they showed them. What did we learn this episode? Don't trust hard-drinking, pot-smoking musicians, especially with your daughters.
Anybody in the rhythm section. Those guys, yeah.
Join us next week when we discuss episode 13, Deadline for Henry, where Henry has jury duty, which interferes with his Cosmic Cow deadline.
Uh-oh, I bet Wainwright isn't going to like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next time, folks. He's Marty Catola.
And he's Gene Mott.
And this has been a show.
And this is our Stitcher ad.
You can hear my show on Stitcher. Stitcher is radio on demand. Download the free app today. Listen anytime, anywhere.
Create custom playlists. Rate and review my show on Stitcher. And over 4 million car dashboards.
On demand and on the go. No downloading, no syncing, no wasted memory. Stream your favorite podcasts. Don't have Stitcher? Download it free today at Stitcher.com or in the App Store.